Hey guys, I'm back and today I'm going to be ranking all of my base products. So I don't have very many of things in each category for like most of my base products. So I thought I would combine them all into one video because this month I'm going to be ranking most of my makeup collection. So this week is base products, next week is going to be blush, and then I think it'll be highlighter and eyeshadow palettes. So if you are interested in that, please stick around. And if you like makeup content, if you like project painting content, definitely stick around because I have a lot of good stuff coming up in November and December, and I am currently planning my 2025 projects. So if you want a say in what I do, make sure to watch out for some polls that will be coming your way. And without further ado, let's hop straight into this video. So I have a couple products that I only have one of in that category. For example, right now my only powder is the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and it's a little mini, and I only have one color corrector, and that's the Exa High Fidelity color corrector. I like both of these. This is like my favorite color corrector of all time, so I guess I would rank it top. This is nice. I don't think I'm gonna repurchase it, but it's doing the job for now. So then moving on, the first category I wanted to start with was primer. I currently have 3 primers, and I ranking them from lowest to highest. My least favorite is the Tatcha The Silk Canvas. This, I just don't really think it does anything. I feel that way about a lot of pore filling primers in this kind of consistency. I had the Makeup Forever one for a while. I've had pore smoothing ones from Smashbox, I'm pretty sure, that like clearish one, and like it's just kind of like silicone-y, but I don't think that those actually do anywhere near as good a job of like filling my pores as just like a good powder setting this area of my face. So I don't think that this could rank very high. It's fine. I will probably pan this next year and then never think about it again. My second favorite primer actually used to be my favorite, so it has been dethroned, and it is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. This is the primer plus moisturizer, like, of their primers. It's got a very liquidy consistency, and it leaves the skin very, like, glossy, and kind of slowly sinks in, and I really like that about it because honestly, most of the time I think my skin just not being hydrated enough will affect the look of my makeup the most. So this has been my favorite. I have gone through a full size and a few minis of this, and then this is another full size that I'm like 2/3 of the way through as well. So this is definitely very good. It has been dethroned. And then my favorite primer is one that I recently repurchased, and I'm very excited to open it up soon, and that's the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. This is a kind of glowy, very hydrating, very just like line smoothing primer, in the sense of like, I feel like it just kind of makes my whole face ready for the application of makeup in a very nice way. It does have a little bit of a tint to it, like a slight sheen. Oh wow, that was a lie. So it comes out yellow. It smells nice, but I don't notice myself, like I can't smell it after I put it on, and it just adds like a nice glow to the skin. And I used this up completely organically, which is kind of wild for my makeup collection, just because I pan so much, and I was panning other primers when I used this up, and this was so easy to reach for. I wanted to reach for it all the time whenever I was doing quick makeup, whenever I really wanted my makeup to look good and I didn't want to fuss with the primer that I was panning at the time. I would reach for this, and I used it up without even trying. And then I was very sad. So recently I picked up another one, and I am very excited to dig into this now that I just finished up a primer in my Graveyard Project pan. Then moving on to foundation, I have 4 foundations I'm also including like BB creams in this category, and um, the I actually have been playing around with them to do this ranking. Um, I like all of them, so this was kind of hard, but I think I've gotten them in a good order. The first is this Misha Perfect Cover BB Cream in the shade NO25. This one is pretty good. Oh, the shade's Warm Beige. I like it okay. The color is not great for me, and I think just the formula is a little bit, I don't know, like not very, it's not as high coverage as these other ones. Um, I think it wears nicely. It is still a BB cream. Honestly, the thing that is working the most against this is the color, I would say. It has a nice glow to it, but I can't really wear it on its own. So I frequently am mixing it in with other things. And then because of that, I decided to rank it last. I don't know if this was the perfect color, if I would rank it higher. I do think sometimes it can settle into lines a little bit. Then the next product is one that is honestly one of my favorites, so I'm kind of lucky that I've used up all of the things in this category that I don't love, and that is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. I really love this foundation. I have it in the shade 425. And honestly, the thing that I like about this the least is the packaging. It's a quite thin and light texture. I think it has a really good shade range. It is easy to blend. I don't find that it gets particularly patchy or anything during the day. And it mixes well, it plays well with other products. It's just I cannot find a way to get the like lid off, and so it'll just stop pumping, and then that's the end of the product. Like you can't scrape out every last drop, and that's how I like to approach makeup, especially foundations. And so that was just unfortunate. I've used up one of these before, and the packaging was kind of a bummer, so I didn't repurchase it immediately. And then last winter, I realized I didn't have any makeup that matched me well, so I picked this up at Ulta really quickly, and I have been using it, and I think I'm going to probably finish it up this winter, because that is still the case. I have a lot of very summer shades for me. So this is good. I think if this came in like slightly different packaging, like same packaging, the top was just able to come off, then it would be higher ranked. It would probably be my number one, or maybe my number two. Then next is one that kind of surprised me how much I liked it. This is the Herborian Korean Skin Therapy BB Cream in the shade Dora. I have really enjoyed using this. It's thicker than the other foundations. It kind of holds its shape really well. It's not very liquidy at all, but there's just something about the formula that blends really nicely. If I want more coverage, going in with my fingers is good. It kind of just spreads everything out in a very even layer. And if I want less coverage, I'll go in with a beauty blender, and I think both ways it blends out really nicely. I have a hard time blending things out with my fingers in general, so the fact that I can do it with this is very impressive, and I think it wears really well. The color isn't perfect for me, and the shade range isn't great, so I don't think that this is ever going to be my number one, but I do like it, and I'm gonna have no problem using it up this year. And I think it mixes well with other things. Like I have mixed in liquid highlighters and other things. I wore it on top of sunscreen, on top of primer, without sunscreen or without primer, and like it plays well in most scenarios. And then my number one foundation is this NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I think this is just so beautiful. It wears beautifully. It is quite liquidy. Oh no, that was a lot. It will kind of slowly start to drip down, but this is really easy to kind of spread in a very light layer or dot it all over the face, then blend out with a brush or a sponge. I think it's the best color match that I have. It's also just, it wears beautifully. When I want to look my best, this is the one that I reach for, and I'm I really do think it was worth the splurge. It honestly, I was surprised by how expensive the Arborian was. If I was going to buy another like $46 foundation, it would 100% be NARS. I just, I think that for the formula, the L'Oreal one looks good, but this one is just, you can use the thinnest layer and it looks so like healthy, evened out, all of the above. And so that's why this one is just going to forever be my number one, um, kind of regardless, I think, of what else I have in my collection. But I am kind of, I've had it for a while. I got it last summer, not this most recent summer, but like summer 2023. So I do need to start thinking about like using it up and making a concerted effort to use it up so that it doesn't go bad on me, because I would be so upset if I let this expire on my watch. Then we have concealers. The first one the one that ranks the lowest is my YSL Touche Éclat Radiant Touch Concealer. This one is just not for me. I think if you're someone who like genuinely wants like the most no makeup look, like the most slight little bit of concealer under the eye, a brown mascara, a brow gel, a lip oil, that's it. Like, this is that vibe, and that's just not my vibe. The color is not great for me either. It's hard because I just wiped off all that foundation, but it's very yellow. And so I have been wearing this, but it's not something that I can really wear like by itself for a quick makeup look. I have to wear it with other base products or else it looks kind of weird. And it's not very high coverage, and I do think it has the tendency to crease a little bit. The next product is one that I think it's hard for me to rank this, but I'm just going to put it here. And this is the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer. This is like my best friend's GOAT concealer. She wears this all the time. The thing is, this is a concealer that I purposely got in a very light shade so that I could mix it in with other products that are not the right shade for me and lighten them. So that's really how I use it, but the texture is great. It mixes really well with other things, and it is like surprisingly high coverage for calling it a Bare With Me serum concealer. I was expecting like super light coverage, but this one kind of packs a punch, and so I would be definitely interested in trying this in a shade that is the correct shade for my skin tone. And then third up, we have this Kosas Revealer Concealer. I have the shade 03 Warm. This is one that I like, but I don't think I would repurchase. It's kind of got a little bit of a thicker formula compared to these two. And while I do like it, I just think that it's not super full coverage, but it can be a little bit thick, so I feel like you're kind of getting the worst of both worlds. Not that it's a bad concealer, it's just because it's a little bit of a thicker formula, it's harder to layer up if I want more coverage. It is very nice, but again, it's just, I prefer my Ilia Serum Concealer, True Skin Serum Concealer, and of the concealers I have today, it's just not my number one, but if it was my only concealer, I could easily reach for it. But my number one concealer, and this is one that I've repurchased, this is I think my third of this one, and that is the RMS Uncover Up Corrector. This is the shade number 22. This is like my perfect summer shade. Obviously, I've used it a lot. I've used it up before, and this I think just has one of the best formulas. It is so like emollient. It blends in really well with the heat of a fingertip. I can even go in with a brush, dip it in there, and then like buff it onto the skin. It blends so nicely into my skin tone, even if it's not the perfect shade for me at the time. This is more of my summer shade, but even I can pull it off in the winter. And it's good for really quick makeup. It's hard to see where it is right there, but that just, I think, goes to show how beautiful of a formula it is, and I will continue to repurchase it. I think it's just so easy to use. And then the last category that I have to rank today is bronzers, and I have 3 options available. So the first 2 are both in palettes. One is my Tarte Park Avenue Princess palette. This is no longer available, so I'm just gonna put it at the bottom because there's no point in really singing its praises because it's no longer available, but also I don't think bronzer palettes are really that worth it for me. I think I learned my lesson with this one. Not all of the shades in here were very good for my skin tone, so I ended up having to like franken like right here and right here. That was the darkest shade that was way too dark for me. I had to mix it in with a powder and a white eyeshadow to get it into a state that was usable for me. These are a really nice formula, but I don't know if that necessarily reflects on all of Tarte's bronzer formulas. I just know that I've really enjoyed this. It took forever to use up. I have been working on this basically nonstop since like 2019, and it is still going strong. But I think we went through that like face palette craze, and now like blush palettes and stuff are still somewhat popular, but like contour and bronzer palettes were very like 2016, and I think we finally moved away from them because we realized like you can't use every bronzer in a bronzer palette, and then at that point like just buy a single pan. For me, obviously everyone can do whatever they want. This is Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Glow Film Star Bronze and Glow. This is the Sculpt shade. I do think it's really pretty. I'll swatch this one just because it's much lighter and much more cool toned than I'm used to, so it kind of can work as a contour in my experience. And I think it's nice, but my qualm with this is just that I go through bronzer so much faster than I go through highlighter. So if I was to use this every day, I know it would eventually turn into just a highlighter for me, and that's okay. But I think moving forward, I'm not as interested in palettes like these. I could definitely see myself repressing other things into this compact though. It's a very nice compact. There's a very nice mirror trying not to blind you with the light, and these are pretty big pans, so I could see myself using up this bronzer and then pressing another bronzer or something into this if I did want to travel with it or keep it in like my car or something. And then I would say my favorite bronzer that I have in my collection is Benefit Hoola. This is kind of a classic for a reason. It's pretty pigmented. They have multiple different shades. I don't think they have the most inclusive shade range, but they have improved over the years. It's not just one bronzer anymore. It's a little bit dark for me, so I do need a light hand, but I think that this blends really nicely, and the packaging is a little bit clunky, but it's, even if I'm considering traveling, like these are both clunky to travel with, so I can't really take that as a negative in this setting. And yeah, once I'm done panning that Tarte palette, I'm very excited to start reaching for this on a daily basis, and not have to be dealing with this whole big palette anymore. So that is everything for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that the cat doing things in the background was not too distracting. And most of all, please let me know what you think of any of these products. If there's anything based off of my likes and dislikes that you think I should try, let me know. And I am very excited to come back next week with blushes. I also have all of my regularly scheduled project pans lined up for the next month. And most of all, I hope you are having an incredible, awesome day wherever you are, and that I get to see you in a future video. Thanks, guys.